You're gonna really say that you didn't cheat on me in the beginning of our relationship with that girl, that you did not have sex with her, that you did not move her into my home.
You're tickling. No, I don't want you right now.
You're losing me.
Well, you already lost me.
When we are intimate, the next day is usually not the best.
Okay.
I've
family.
not agreed
And
to
you knew
have a
it.
family.
What do you mean you not agree?
I've never agreed to have a family with you.
I thought we would come and you would tell the truth.
Life. So we have his life.
I don't swear on my son's life, not like you.
I want my sex therapy.
The show is called The Last Resort, but it should be renamed to Rejection Island. I'll be the first to admit that at first, seeing the couple's disdain for each other was comical. Now we're teetering on the line where it's a bit painful. Like I tell my girlfriends and I tell you guys all the time, never let someone tell you they don't want you more than once. So I can't imagine experiencing this on camera for the world to see. We're truly seeing the ugliest parts of these relationships. Let's get into it. Hi guys, welcome back to Nikki Faces Reality. We are here to discuss 90 Day Fiancé, The Last Resort. I honestly wasn't expecting for the show to deliver episode after episode, but I gotta say, this is better than season 1 for me. This particular episode looks like it spanned 24 hours, following different couples and just like scrambled the footage. So I'm just gonna organize the journeys by couple. That way it's just easier for us to talk about it. Before we get into it, as always, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. You can also hit the little bell icon so that you can get alerted anytime I post a video. But thank you so much for being here today. We're gonna jump straight into it with Ari and Bini because ooh, I think we've hit the mark with these two where like they really shouldn't be left alone because I don't think anything productive will come out of it. Also, it's so evident that the grace has left the building. And when you hit the point where you don't give anyone any grace, like you've really reached a point of no return. And I really think that the conversations need to change. It's no longer about saving the relationship. It's about saving your child's sanity because you guys are never going to be okay. But at the top of the journey, I have to bring you back to the group therapy. That's where this episode picks up. Therapists don't ask them how they work together because they honestly did not. They failed that mission completely. Instead, she pivots the conversation to the whole social media aspect. And Ari proceeds to say just like the longest run-on sentence. She's like, Ari's like, since you said that you wouldn't participate until I give you the passwords, I'm going to give you the passwords and let's hope that you act right. And so here's the thing. This is what I mean when Ari kind of like rewrites shit. Because he is participating. Is he being eager? Does he want to be all up on you? No, but he is participating. I don't think she can help herself that every time she speaks of him, it's like he's her child or like in a way that feels like she's trying to bring shame. And that's what I mean when I say that like Ari is Bini's greatest op. She hates when he's being social. She hates when he's showing his talent. She hates when she's not the center of his universe. It really is a deeper issue. So I really do think that in a very sinister way, she gets a kick out of talking to him like that in front of other people. I don't like it. Does he deserve to be held accountable? Absolutely. But don't think that I'm gonna be all up on you when you talk to me like I'm beneath you. You know what I mean? But still, she commits to her promise and she hands him this piece of paper with his passwords. And I was dying because Bini was trying so hard to not react. He was like, thank you. But I know that man wanted to do cartwheels. He wants to do all the stunts, but he's like keeping it contained. The therapist is like, oh, so now you have your passwords. You're going to dive deep now, right? And he says yes. And in his confessional, he says that he's open because now that she's handing him his freedom, his passwords, he feels respected. Something that Bini should know by now is that with Ari, nothing is free. Because post-therapy, we see them all commuting in a van. For the first time in like ages, these two look like an actual couple. She is leaning on him. He has his arm over her. He's holding her hand. It is a very nice picture, you know? And this is a sweet moment. But Ari can't help herself. And she's like, so now that I gave you what you want, you're going to be nice to me, right? I just want you to be nice to me. Ari, he is being nice to you. Why do you feel the need to direct him further? Let things flow. You need to let him come to you. Bini obviously has expressed that he doesn't like when you bark at him. You are giving him orders. He does not like that, especially when it comes to things that should be of his free will. So like automatically for me, I'd be like, you're killing the moment, but he's still nodding. He's still, holding her. He didn't push her off. He's just like, okay. And this is for me where it takes a turn because everyone has decided that they're gonna make a pit stop at this like restaurant bar to hang out. So they're all excited because it's a social group gathering. Ari looks like she's constipated on Bini's lap and she's like, please don't embarrass me when we get to the bar. Embarrass you? Last time I checked, she was the one that locked herself in the bathroom. So who's embarrassing who? I was like, that's a weird thing to say, especially when you're having a nice moment, But then you could see that Bini is interacting, I think, with Rob in the van, and he's like, hey, because it's a group gathering, it's going to be fun. And she's like, that's what I mean. Like, I want you to pay attention just to me. This isn't a date night. This is a group gathering, and he's already giving you attention. This is what I mean when I say she is his greatest op. And I don't want to be too hard on Ari because I'm also trying to get in her mindset where she's an introvert, so she doesn't want to be in a group outing. I totally get that. But you have to meet your partner where they are. He's already giving you affection. See how it goes before you start making demands, But I think in her mind, she's like, I give you what you want. You need to give me what I want. And I don't want you around other people. And it's just like, you can't go 0 to 100. You know what I mean? But I'm trying to be empathetic to the fact that she's an introvert and that she's probably touch deprived, because they haven't been intimate in a year. I get that all of those things can make you a little cray. But honestly, at this juncture, Bini is a flight risk. You need to relax. So already, I know that this outing is about to be awful because she has a stank attitude even before they go in. They barely get to the bar. People are ordering drinks. These two haven't even gotten to order their food before Ari is like, hey, can we talk? And she pulls him aside. And again, this is a group outing. So people are like, where are they going? Because it's not like a solo therapy situation. But Ari's like, okay, I gave him his passwords. That means that now he needs to have deep conversations with me. I need to get all of the answers. And I get the need, but you have to read the room. This is not the time or the place. Well, she pulls him aside to this area in the bar, and she's like she hugs him at first, so I think that it's going to be fine. But then she is holding his hand, and she's like, I want you to admit all of the hurt that you've caused me because I've sacrificed so much for you. And he's like, So Ari's tactic is to approach a cheating incident that she believes happened 5 years ago before they can approach the situation present day. Present day, he said that he didn't cheat, that they were separated. Ari feels she was cheated on. That's something that they have to work out. But previously, she believes that he cheated on her while she was pregnant. Bini is swearing up and down that he did not cheat. He swears it on his child's life. Already, we're not off to a good start. Ari's like, I know that you cheated on me. I saw it on video. This girl was laying down in our bed and you were there with her. So this is where it takes a bigger turn because Bini's like, okay, I'm going to explain to you my side of things, but I need you not to interrupt. If you interrupt, I will step away. This is a warning, okay? And the fact that he has to even make this warning tells you everything you need to know about their communication. And I thought, personally, that was huge of him to lead with because Bini is textbook avoidant. He will run for the hills. So the fact that he gave you that warning and didn't just run, leaps and bounds from where you've been. Okay? I'm not saying it's great. I'm saying this is the progress that you said you wanted. Rome was not built in a day, right? Any story to me is juicy because it confirms what we already knew. He was already with someone, and I guess he cheated on that girl with Ari, and Ari got pregnant. Ari was just backpacking in Ethiopia. She was supposed to dip, but then she got pregnant, and then Bini and her were stuck together, and then he had to let go of his actual girlfriend. So apparently this girlfriend pulled up to their house and she was depressed, and I guess Bini was talking her off the ledge because she was heartbroken that he left her for some white girl and now has a baby. A mess. It is a telenovela. Do I believe that Bini was just being a nice guy consoling this girl? No. He definitely dipped his pencil. Definitely. But I thought it was just so interesting that I'm like, Ari, how you get him is how you lose him. And that is an unfortunate tale as old as time. I don't condone cheating. I personally cannot get past cheating. But something I've said on this channel, and I will say it again, if you forgive cheating, you are committing to moving past it. In your eyes, he's cheated on you again, then you need to forget about what happened the 5 years ago and you need to discuss the matters at hand. Bini is looking at you like you have 3 heads because he's like, why are we discussing something that happened a long time ago? Also, you have the story mixed up. I honestly don't know who to believe in this story, to be honest. But he's going on, and Ari's cutting him off because she's like, that's not true. And he's like, hey, I'm not done. And she's like, no, because I have something more to say. And he's like, but I'm not finished talking. And she continues to talk over him. And he's like, I thought you wanted to work this out because I told you to shut up. He didn't say that, but that's basically like, do you want me to speak or not? And what's clear to me is that Ari is not interested in listening. She's interested in being right. I feel like Ari wants to be vindicated on camera. And the thing is, I don't know if I believe that Bini cheated, but I do believe that he acted inappropriately. I do believe that maybe his timelines were off. And I also do believe that Ari has him on the show, not because she's interested in building a future with him, but because she wants to get her lick back and humiliate him on camera. It all comes down to control, okay? And in this conversation, she's trying to be on top, and Bini has had it. So he's like, Ari, do you even want to fix things? Swear it on Avi, that's their kid. She's like, I don't swear on our child like you do. And I think this really offended him, and he just flipped her off, you guys. F you, and left her. I was like, they really know how to pinch each other's buttons. It's really sad. Honestly, none of these people want to work at this. I think that the most that Bini wants to do is be amicable for his kid. You guys, like, there's no way that these people are in love with each other. There is no tenderness, no grace, and I think that they came into this resort with different motives. Particularly for Bini, I feel like because he doesn't love her, the line for him is respect, and the minute he feels disrespected, he's like, I have nothing to do with you here. But then we see him with the guys, and like, he's telling them that he really wants to be at a good place for his kid. His kid deserves happy parents because his kid loves him so much. And this is like the first time that we see Bini break down. I think it pains him to have a really dysfunctional family because this is the only one that he has. Remember, his ex-wife completely left him in the dust. He has no connection to his child. And so Ari and Avi were his second chance at having a family. And like, I'm sure that is heartbreaking to see it not work. But when we also see him talk to the guys, he's like, you know, if she wants to work on our future, like, we can't keep talking about the past. And I disagree with that. I think it's important to discuss the past. I just think that it can't come from a place where you're pointing fingers, especially when you've already forgiven it. And I also think that the timing of it, I think that the way that this whole conversation was executed was terrible. But then again, Ari is coming from a very desperate place. And when you have reached that level of desperation, I don't think that you can really be reasonable, is what I think. But let's move on to the next couple, Julia and Brandon. So when we pick up with them at the top of the day at the group therapy, she's intense because Natalie is laughing like a maniac, and Julia is just frustrated because she's like, this is about everyone and you keep making this about you because you lost a contest. Like, grow up, shut up, you know? But when it finally comes to them, Brandon's like, yeah, you know, it was great. We work so well together. And I feel like that should show you that we would be a great team when we have kids. And you could see any light from Julia just leave her body because this man has an agenda, you know? And she says, she's like, I feel really anxious at even the thought of kids. We have learned that these two have not been intimate ever since he's been like, we're going to have kids, we're going to have kids. Because she has said that she didn't want it. But in this conversation, we learned that it's not just that she doesn't want it. She doesn't give herself permission to want that or even fantasize about kids. Because in the reality is she got a fertility test in Russia and she was told that she can't have kids. And she just starts crying. And you could see Brandon like tense up because he looks like a dick. You keep pushing your wife about kids when she's telling you that physically she has a lot of issues. So he's looking guilty next to her because so far all he has gone on about is the fact that she won't give him access. But she won't give him access because she's like, I'm scared. So Brandon is adamant that they need to get a second opinion, and I completely agree. Still, I don't think that kind of pressure is going to be good for their intimacy. I don't think it's going to be good for their communication, for their trust. It's a lot of pressure. Honestly, like, I'm so happy that she even had this conversation in front of everyone because it's one of those things that when you are growing up, they make it seem like we're all going to be fertile myrtles. I wish that they discussed with us at length that fertility issues are so common. I wish that conversations about things like miscarriages and stuff weren't such taboo because they're so common, and honestly, I think it's just so harmful for women to go through all those things and feel like they're alone in it. There's so many resources for that. So I think that this was a really brave conversation to have. And I don't want to villainize Brandon for wanting to have kids. I feel like if that is what you want, you should have it without putting pressure on your wife. Like, if you have to let go of that relationship, if it's a deal breaker, then it's a deal breaker. So I don't want to villainize him for that. But I am looking at him sideways because she's crying, being like, I feel like he's gonna leave me if I don't have kids. And he's like, no, like, I wouldn't leave you because of that. But then in his confessional, he's like, but I have to have kids. Like, I have to have it. What if she can't give it to you? Are you gonna be okay with IVF? Are you gonna be okay with adoption? How about if she just doesn't want to have it at all? Don't make promises like you're never gonna leave someone if you are saying that this is your line in the sand. To wrap up their segment, they do seem to have a breakthrough. Julia does have a conversation with her parents, with her mom particularly, about it because she has been keeping all of this bottled up. I felt so bad for her. But she finally told her mom what she has been going through, the conversations that her and Brandon have been having. And her mom was like, yeah, get a second opinion. So Brandon seems happy about that. And it seems like therapy so far is working for them. Next up is Natalie and Josh. So when we pick up with them at the group therapy, this lady is laughing like an evil villain while Sophie is talking about her and Rob's experience because she honestly, I really do think it's mental illness. She hates when other pretty women speak. She has a chip on her shoulder that everyone's against her, even though they called you out because you cheated. And then Josh is next to her and he, I feel like, is giving mixed signals because he's next to her like this. He looks embarrassed at the fact that she's laughing like that. Then he also says that he's like, you know, I'm proud of her for standing up for herself. You don't look so proud, buddy. And this weird dynamic continues when we see them getting a private sex therapy session. So if you guys remember, they couldn't partake in the group sex therapy because Natalie was exiled and Josh escaped. Do you guys remember that? So they're gonna do this assignment one-on-one, and Natalie is so excited. She is so eager. She's ready to jump on this. Josh is sitting next to her and the life is leaving his body. He's like, get me out of here. So the coach is walking them through the activity and Josh is like, I don't really want that on my body. It's not natural, you know. I think that we don't have issues with intimacy. I think that, you know, I like to let things flow naturally. And she's like, well, it's not just about like intimacy, it's about building trust, your communication, about vulnerability. And Natalie's like, yes, let's do it. And Josh is like he's not excited about this. When we see him start painting Natalie, he's putting like the littlest bit of syrup, okay? And then when it's time to lick it off, which is the assignment, he starts wiping it. And she's like, kiss me, lick it. And he's like, it is embarrassing. And you could see Natalie look at the coach, and the coach is really trying not to emote, but she's like, are you fucking serious right now? And then when it's his turn, Natalie's like, take off your shirt. And he's like, oh no, I'm not taking off my shirt. I'm not partaking. And then he says, I'm not really into PDA. And here's the thing. I've said this on this channel. I don't believe in forcing intimacy. I don't. But he is contradicting himself on this couch because he just said that he enjoys doing things the natural way. Now you're going to say that you're not comfortable with PDA? Natalie is completely thrown off by his reaction, the fact that he's being so reserved, the fact that he's being so shy, because this is a confident man. This is the self-proclaimed modelizer. He is shirtless on his Instagram day in, day out. You can't get shirtless for me to put a little paint on you? She is confused. He's being a little defensive. He's like, I don't want to do it. Like, why do I have to do it? And you could see that there's like an emotional block. He's not letting her in. And the coach is like, is there something that you would do like if I wasn't in the room? And so she walks out of the room to give them time to do it. But the cameras are still in there. And after like a while, he begrudgingly takes off his shirt. And Natalie like does a little bit. And then he immediately runs to the bathroom. So it's just Natalie and the coach. And she's like, I'm really surprised that he's acting like this. When he comes back, he has his shirt on. And he's just like, I'm sure it's supposed to work. But like, I didn't have any fun. But then we get to the conversation. Because he has kept saying that they don't have any problem with intimacy, right? Then he shares, and this is where it goes downhill. Josh says, our intimacy, there's never a problem until the next day. What do you mean, Josh, the next day? Natalie gets wrapped up in his spell after he gives her the pencil, and she starts expecting more. He's like, yeah, she's expecting more communication. She's expecting us to do breakfast. And it's like, I'm a busy guy. I don't want to change my schedule for you. This man is so trash. Because what I'm hearing is, I don't care to do aftercare. She becomes too needy after I give her the D. That's what I heard. And here's the thing. Natalie is needy. But there is something that feels so cheap about him being like, I want to hit it and just like leave me alone. This man is never going to claim you, Natalie. But instead, Natalie's like, I just don't understand why you have to do all of those things on your own. Yeah, you're busy with work. Yeah, you're busy with your kids, but like, why can't I be with you through that? She's like, there's many busy people. Donald Trump is so busy and he still makes time for his wife. And I'm like, oh my God, if this is the person that she's idolizing, I can't even. But I get her point. She's like, sir, there are busier people out there than you, and they make time for what they want. You say that you want to build something with me. How are we supposed to ever build a family if we don't spend time together? And he's like, whoa, like when did I agree to have a family with you? And she's like, what do you mean? And he's like, I never agreed to have a family with you. The way that I would get up and never look back. He's like, Josh, I want family. He's like, I never promised you that. She turns to the therapist and she's like, I've broken up with him 3 times. And 3 times he's run after me, telling me that we're going to work at this. And here's the thing. I do believe that he's chased her. Natalie is very headstrong. She's very outspoken. She wants what she wants. So if you know you can't give that to her, why do you keep bothering her? Because he seems so annoyed by this conversation. And you wouldn't have to have this conversation if you stopped chasing her. And so at this point, she's yelling because she's like, I hate that you make me feel like I'm worthless. Like it's like a knife in the kidneys. Sister wife reference. She's like, what am I to you, Josh? Am I your girlfriend? What am I? And the therapist is like, Josh, why are you here? And that's a great question. Why is he here? And he's like, because of this. I want to know if we're going to be able to get to a place where we could be together. Because this explosiveness, I cannot have that in my life. I cannot bring that around my family and friends. I cannot bring that to my home. And that's horrible to hear, but also valid. But what you see is what you get. This isn't Build-A-Bear. She isn't cutting it for you as she is. Stop it. This is harmful. Same thing goes for Natalie. It's been 3 years and you're at therapy entertaining a conversation about whether or not you're going to be official. Madness, mental illness. So Natalie at this point is like lashing out because she's like, you are insulting me, like going off. And the therapist is like, Natalie, your partner is allowed to have feelings as you are, and their feelings are not an attack towards you. And Natalie did not like that. Natalie's like, how much time do we have left? Like, are we done here? You're the sex therapist, right? Maybe we need a different therapist. And the therapist is like, so you're feeling a lot right now. And Natalie's like, I feel like I have to defend myself. Because I think what Natalie wants is a yes man. She wants someone that's going to be like, yeah, Natalie, you are right. Josh is wrong. And she's not going to get that. She decides that she is done. She starts gathering the therapist's supply. She's like, no. The therapist wants to leave like the brush and things behind just in case they want to partake in it. Natalie's like, no, he clearly doesn't like it. And starts packing it up and literally walking the therapist to the door. And she's like, don't forget your plate. And then slams the door behind her. And Josh is just embarrassed on the couch. And she just like leaves. I did not like that. I don't like Natalie, period. But I felt like there were like a lot of microaggressions there. I also felt like she is beyond saving. And also, I'm like, Josh, you wanted crazy, you got crazy. I just cannot imagine having a man tell me in 101 ways that he doesn't want me and for me to continue crying about him on television. There isn't enough money in the world. Let's move on to the final couple, Jasmine and Gino. It's really short. Talk about painful. Jasmine and Gino are still a bit on edge. When we saw them at the Western bar, Jasmine was keeping Gino far away from Florian. There was a moment where she like stopped him from like moving next to him. She's like, like we are not here for part 2 of that. The next time we see them though, they're in their hotel room. Gino's laying down. Jasmine looks incredible in this bikini. She almost looks like one of those like 80s models. That's what it was giving. She's serving body in this room, okay? And she's like, I'm gonna go to the pool. And she like looks at him and she goes to the bed and like starts giving him kisses. He runs off that bed like, you're tickling me. He does not want her to touch him. This is his wife, okay? And she's on the bed looking at him like, and she's trying to keep calm. And she lets him come to the bed again. And she like is like, babe, give me a kiss. Just give me one kiss. She's begging him for crumbs. And he's like, no, I don't want to right now. He honestly sounds like a teenager that's being asked to clean their room. Like, throw her a bone. She's not telling you to hump her. Throw her a bone. Give her a little peck and send her off. This man is flat out rejecting her with every fiber of his being. And it's been a year of this. And I've always said that like, part of it is earned, you know? I think that Jasmine has said some things that like you can't take back and they cut really deep. And I think that it's been a lot of that for them in their relationship. It's been a power struggle for sure. But she has been trying. From what we see, she has been trying. So after he rejects her a few times on the bed, she like starts throwing pillows at him, which like you probably shouldn't have done, but he's throwing them right back at her. She goes to like the little living room area and he's on the bed and I guess he's talking to the producer and he's like, I just don't feel like doing anything right now. Like that's just not where I'm at. And she comes from the other room and she's like, Gino, I'm not even asking you for schmecks. Like, I'm just asking for a kiss. And he's like, that's just not where I'm at. We need to start at friends. Like, she's like, friends? We are married. He's like, well, we need to start at the fundamentals. And she's like, then why did you marry me? Like, if you felt like that's where we were. And he's basically saying like they weren't always there. I kind of have to agree with Jasmine. I feel like they aren't any worse than they were when they got married. So I really don't know what exactly is going through his mind. But what he's saying is we need to rebuild. We need to start as friends. Like, that's what I need. And what I need is most important. And like, good for you, King, for putting yourself first-ish. But you are also married. And like, you're not separated. So while you remain married and together, your wife's needs are also important. And there has to be some give and take. And you don't have to be full-fledged intimate with schmecks. But I think to hold your wife's hand, to hug her, to give her a peck, I don't think is the end of the world. I think we've hit the threshold where it's cruel, you know? And Jasmine is breaking down in front of him. She's like, Gino, like, I desperately want connection with you and you keep turning me away. Like, you're losing me. And Gino's like, oh yeah, I'm losing you? Well, you lost me. And I feel like when he said that, there is nothing left to say. Because if you feel that I've already lost you, then that means that you're checked out. That means that there is nothing that I can do to rebuild. Everything you're doing is lip service. Like, there's no need to keep pretending, you know? And so at this point, I'm like, Gino, if these are the conditions that you're trying to keep this relationship in, then you have no choice but to open it up or get a divorce. Because she didn't agree to this. Honestly, divorce seems like the only answer. But I understand now. I mean, I don't agree with it. It's not for me. But I understand why Jasmine's like, okay, it seems like Gino wants to keep me around as a friend. I didn't sign up for a schmecksless marriage, so I want to get it somewhere else. I still believe that Jasmine has already been emotionally cheating on Gino with her friend Matt. It's obvious because her and Gino have nothing there, and she's obviously getting the support and partnership and affection of some sort elsewhere. And I think that she doesn't consider it cheating because she's holding off the physical, and because while she's maintaining that emotional relationship, she is still actively trying in this relationship. And I think she's like at her wit's end. In her confessional, she's like, I'm doing everything in my power because I'll be damned if you say that this failed because of me. I'm giving you my all, I'm giving you my best, and you are not meeting me halfway. With anything, I feel like they are on the last resort as Jasmine's proof that, like, if she moved on fast, it's because Gino abandoned her through their marriage. I don't think it makes anything that she's doing okay, but I also feel like Gino is moving all types of dirty. Like honestly, I'm sure if you could zoom into his skin, you could see his skin crawl. The minute she touched him, the way he flinched and jumped off the bed, his uncomfortable giggling, he doesn't want that lady. So set her free. I don't wish this on anybody, honestly. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, you guys. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one.